What is up, tube users? I'm the Stereotypical Gamer, and welcome back to another episode of Z to A. Today we're diving into Tribes of Midgard. This is a game that I stumbled across just going through my queue or whatever in the Steam store page. I like to go through there just to check out games, look at different trailers of games that maybe I wouldn't come across by any normal fashion, and it's a good way to just view different games out there. And this was a game that kind of piqued my interest. I believe I got it around the time that Valheim was popular, and it has a lot of the same kind of vibes as Valheim. It's like an open world RPG with crafting and stuff, so it definitely has that feel of an RPG with some good and some bad, but I've kept this game. I haven't played it too much, but I do enjoy it whenever I get the chance to play it. And just starting out a new world, it's been a couple years since I played it last, and it's definitely changed. It's definitely gotten better. I remember one of my biggest complaints is that how hot my graphics card would be running when playing this game, but today it was super smooth. I think I was on all high settings and no complaints temperature wise or anything like that, so that's great. And it really does feel like the gameplay is smoothed out. I remember kind of last time I want to say it was more of a tower defense game where you had this base. It might be a different game mode, but this what I played last it was like a tower defense where you kind of go out and explore the same way you do in this game mode, but you have to defend this world tree or something like that. And in this game mode there is that world tree and it gives you health and stuff like that, but they don't have it's not, it doesn't matter if they don't monsters don't attack it or anything. You just kind of go through the open world like your typical Valheim, typical Minecraft RPG open world kind of game. I wouldn't say this game does anything revolutionary in terms of gameplay wise, but it is enjoyable. I do like the art style as well. I was a big fan of Valheim, and the whole Viking aesthetic that it has in this game definitely has some of that similar aesthetic and similar kind of lore behind the entire world. And it's really fun. I think the pacing at the beginning is fairly slow, just getting your first weapons, because it's hard to find. You just pick up branches and flint to make your first crafted materials, like your axes and pickaxes and stuff like that. And it's actually kind of hard to find them. You can't punch down trees like you can in Minecraft, or punch stone to get stone. You have to go and just find smaller rocks to craft all this stuff, and that actually takes a lot longer. Once you get those tools, everything becomes super easy and is just a breeze to start leveling up all the different things that you need to just get a better, I guess it's like a gear score almost, how it works. I wasn't fully aware of what was going on. It's basically in different zones there's a power level or a gear score that's recommended for that zone, and you get gear score. And I still don't know what it's called, but we're just gonna call it gear score. You get gear score by getting better armor, better weapons, stuff like that, and that will put you on pace to go to these higher zones. And that's one thing I really liked, is the scaling. It's really slow at first, just trying to get those weapons and just run around with nothing. But once you get those first equipments, you get your first sword, everything just kind of becomes a breeze to just harvest and to attack in general around you. And you're able to just do so much more with just the bare equipment, and just anything you need basically to farm just becomes infinitely easier with just the basic equipment. It gets a lot easier when you upgrade stuff as well, But just starting out, it's really good pacing for the game, I feel. And the punishment for death isn't bad. I remember when I first played this game, like if you died, you would respawn at the world tree, and then everything would start swarming towards you, and there was really nothing you could do. But it's more akin to like Minecraft, where all your stuff is dropped at your location of where you died, and you just kind of lose its souls, I believe, which is, you can find like vendors around the world that sell different things, and like the souls are the currency that they take. You just lose, I think you lose all of them when you die, but it's not like it's that big of a deal. Anything that like a vendor sells, you can farm fairly easily, and it's pretty straightforward if you've played those RPGs, especially like Valheim. I'd say most akin to Valheim, but it definitely has some of those Minecraft aspects for just like crafting and stuff like that. But what I think this game doesn't do, and especially for people who haven't played those types of games a lot, is the tutorialization, if that's a word. The tutorial in this game is not great at all. You have it's definitely like Valheim, where you have like how in Valheim you have like the Raven that tells you like different hints and stuff. It's similar to that, but they don't show you anything. There's really nothing to go on, and the only reason I was able to progress as far as I did is because I've played these games. I understand the basic nature of how things work, and how to craft things and stuff, so I had a basic understanding. But for someone who hasn't played those games, this would be horrible. The tutorial wording and stuff is really confusing. I just wish that there was a proper way to get people to understand this game, because it is fun, but it's definitely confusing, and it's not always straightforward on like when you need to upgrade something, you'll need a certain material, and I wasn't able to find a way to be able to go search for that certain material. So things like that, I just wish there was a more streamlined way of finding the thing you need and gathering it. I think one of the other things that I found really interesting about this game, and why I purchased it, is the fact that it's not bound by the like 4-person multiplayer that a lot of games are bound to. I mean, yes, there are some exceptions, but generally multiplayer games have a max of 4 people, and especially in co-op games you see that a lot. This game allows up to 10 people into like a server with each other, and so I really think that's a huge plus. I absolutely hate the 4 multiplayer, or even less, like there are some games like Apex Legends that only have 3 players, which, yeah, it's the way they did their game, that's fine and everything, but I just don't like being bound to 4. It's just a video game trope that I think just kind of needs to die, especially for co-op games. But luckily this game isn't bound by those rules, so that's an absolute plus in my book. One of the other things I actually really enjoyed about this game was the combat system. I mean, it is pretty basic. You have a shield that you can equip to block. You have your basic dodge, and then you have your attack. But you also have a special attack, and I believe each weapon type, I should say, has a different special attack. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I did notice between the sword and the club it was a different special attack that I believe is like the charges for it. You can see in the bottom left there's 3 charges for the weapon that I'm holding, and I believe you gain that through just combat is what it seems, but it also seemed like sometimes it will decrease through combat. I wasn't quite sure how that worked, but yeah, I did really enjoy it. I thought the animations for the combat were really good, and especially for like the special moves, I really liked the whirlwind animation. But yeah, just once you get those first weapons, and even like the upgraded weapons, you definitely feel the power behind them, which is really important, I feel, for a game that involves crafting your own weapons. They should feel powerful, and this game definitely brings that. I didn't face any of the bosses in this playthrough quite yet. It does take some time because you definitely want to have stuff upgraded, and just farming all the materials for that takes a while. But I do remember fighting the bosses when I first got this game, and it was definitely a challenge, and they're definitely unique in how you're supposed to approach each one of them, which is really enjoyable. Kind of like all the regular mobs around the world, they're all pretty standard. I mean, they do have some differences in mechanics, but they're all pretty standard. It's pretty easy to understand how to block them just after watching them for a few seconds. But the bosses definitely you have to have some sort of strategy behind them, which is really cool. I also really enjoyed how quick the gathering was for materials. It wasn't like Minecraft or Valheim, where you're just constantly mining things and having it take forever. Everything was just one hit, you press one button, and you got it. The one thing I didn't like is when you faced mobs, they drop a few different items, and there wasn't a way to like pick them up. Like, I wish there was like an auto pickup. It would make things a lot easier, because I mean, for the most part, I'm not gonna leave stuff on the ground unless like my inventory was full, which I never really got full inventory. I had a lot of stuff in my inventory, but I never got full, which I mean is a plus of my books. Just being able to hold a bunch of stuff makes it a lot easier to farm the stuff that I need, you know. So that's and yeah, just farming in general, I really enjoyed just being able to run around, click one button, and farm the materials that I need from like trees and stones and stuff like that. The other thing I thought was interesting about this game is kind of how different zones are structured. There's like some height to it, but since it's all in this like isometric third-person perspective, it's mostly all on the same level. But there are, like, as we saw just a little bit ago, I broke through a barrier and went up a level from the base ground level. So there is some verticality to this game, but it's not easy to find the way. It's usually just one path in and out. But it also is kind of buggy, as you'll see coming up here. So I'm on the whatever second level, because it does seem like floors, right? It's pretty structured that way. But I got close to a ledge up here and I got stuck. There is like an invisible wall, but I just rolled in the wrong place right there, and now I'm stuck in this like middle ground, and I was not able to escape. I tried teleporting because they said that the shrine or whatever near that home base was like a teleport spot, but maybe you have to be next to another shrine in order to teleport. I wasn't sure. But yeah, I ended up getting stuck, and it kind of ruined the fun for me, and that's where I decided to end things. But overall, if I didn't get stuck, I really enjoyed the game. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.